Oh, I've had a question, this is Unit 3, Lesson 11. I've had a question about 1g, and we want to find the derivatives of the following functions. For this one, it's a chain rule, and you can approach it two different ways. You can use quotient rule, or you can use power rule, and I'll show you both ways. So if we go ahead and use the quotient rule says take the derivative of the top function, so the 1, so derivative of 1 is 0, multiplied by the denominator, minus top function multiplied by derivative of the numerator. So the 2 would come down. All right, so I take the derivative of that 2. The rest of the function remains the same. Now it's the power of 1 multiplied by, so that takes care of my brackets. Now I go in and take the derivative of what's inside. Derivative of inside is 3x squared plus 4x. And that will all be divided by x cubed plus 2x squared plus 1 to the 4th. I'm not sure why I can't draw a straight line on the board there. It just went wonky. Anyway, that first term, that all goes to 0. So all we're really left with is the 2, and I'll write the 3x squared plus 4x first. Oh, and it'll be a negative x cubed plus 2x squared plus 1. And you're not going to expand and simplify this any further. For myself, I'm marking your first line anyway. So there you go. So that is using quotient rule. Now, I want to propose something else. Look at it a little bit differently. What happens if we treat this as a power rule? So the way you do that is that we eliminate this whole fraction thing. So what about if we rewrite this function as y equals, and I'm going to move that denominator up to the numerator, so x cubed plus 2x squared plus 1. And when we move it to the numerator, the exponent becomes a negative. So now it is just a power law. So it would mean my derivative, y prime, would be the negative 2 would come down. I don't touch anything inside. That goes to the exponent negative 3. Now I take the derivative of what's inside. So I've essentially taken care of my brackets. So now inside I have 3x squared plus 4x. And there we end up with a similar answer. Negative 2, 3x squared plus 4x over, because it's negative 3, this would return back to the denominator if I had to simplify. Okay. If you're asking why it doesn't look quite the same as the first one, if we go back over here, we see that we have common factors. So those guys would cancel out. Oops. Bottom wouldn't cancel out. The exponent would cancel out. It would become a 3. And then you'd have the exact same thing. So either method, perfectly fine. You pick the one that best suits or makes most sense for yourself. Because on a test, it won't matter to me as long as you take the derivative. If you have any other questions, let me know.